And welcome back to The Watchman from TBN's Jerusalem studio. We're talking to national security experts Yossi Cooper-Wasser, Moti Zaken. And gentlemen, before we went to the break, we were talking about Hezbollah and the threat to the north. Now, I want to take it to the south, to Gaza in particular with Hamas. Now, the last major war with Hamas, 2014. What is the state right now, Yossi, of Hamas rearming? Where is their strength level right now? We know about the tunnels, obviously, as well. Where are they right now in regards to their threat to Israel?
It's very difficult to say, but they are in the midst of an ongoing effort to rearm themselves, to regain the tunnels that they lost. And generally speaking, I would say that 2.5 years after the last encounter between us and them, it's reasonable to assume that they came back more or less to where they were before. Yeah. And yes, they have not become less determined to hit us and to destroy Israel as they were before, but they are more knowledgeable of what kind of harm we can inflict on them. Yeah. So they are cautious, and we had the quietest 2.5 years between us and them for a long time.
And Yossi, Iran still arming Hamas?
Iran supports them. Yeah. It's more difficult for Iran to arm them. Yeah. Because Sudan has changed its policy, and in the past they were arming Hamas through Sudan, and then the weapons were going through Egypt. Now the Egyptians are more determined to prevent it, and Sudan is out of the game.
And I want to come back to
more
Egypt.
Difficult. But they find ways, because what they do today is they cooperate with the ISIS that is located in Sinai. And this enables them to get all kinds of arms, not necessarily directly from Iran.
Talk about an unholy alliance, Yossi, Hamas and ISIS.
It's quite holy alliance, because both of them are extreme religious groups. But it's a problematic alliance, because it shows you that in the end of the day, radical Muslims, whether they belong to the extreme radical groups like ISIS, or whether they belong to the more realistic radical groups like Muslim Brotherhood, their goal is the same. First of all, in the Middle East, get rid of Israel, destroy Israel. And then in the larger picture, change the world order, make the Islam the ruler of the world according to Sharia.
The caliphate.
The caliphate all over the world. Yeah. That's the common goal. The difference is that the pace in which this change should occur, and some of the tools may differ. But it's a matter of timetable, not more than that.
A great point, Yossi. Same end game between ISIS, Muslim Brotherhood, different tactics, different timetable. Moti, we talk about Hamas and Gaza and that horrific dictatorship there. And one of the groups that has really suffered the brunt of it were the Christians of Gaza. And take it to a place like Bethlehem, the Christian communities in Bethlehem. Talk about the struggles many times, you've done a lot of work on this, of religious minorities in the Middle East, and how Israel is the one place where there is true religious freedom and tolerance in this chaotic region.
Okay, well, we have to remember that from 1910 up until 2010, the number of the Christian population in the Middle East has decreased sharply from 14% into 4%. Wow. Now, since 2011, the Arab Spring, up until now, I think another 1% less. So maybe there are 3% of the population, Christian population. So, and if we just think about Turkey and Iran, that practically the Christian population doesn't exist.
And this is the birthplace of Christianity, Moti.
There's a cradle,
this is it.
Cradle of civilization and cradle of birthplace of Judeo-Christian religion.
Civilization, sure.
Look at Iraq. From 1.4 million Christians, Assyrians, Chaldeans, Nestorians, these are native Christians who speak Aramaic.
Now, how much does ISIS have to do with that, the emptying out of Christians in Iraq and Syria?
It has to do a lot with it. It was a major threat. It forced the people either to accept to become Muslims or to pay some tax and ransom.
The jizya.
And but that's only officially. But then the Christian women were abducted, Christian families also were oppressed, were tortured. So there's no, if you don't have a protector, if you don't have a patron, and there's no patron for Christianity. We have to remind the audience also that the Jewish communities have been emptied from the Middle East in the 50s. In
forgotten
the previous,
refugees.
Yes. And this is why Israel is the only safe haven, real safe haven for the Christian community.
We got to head to the break now, gentlemen, but I think of the old saying in the world of radical Islam, first the Saturday people, the Jewish people, then the Sunday people, the Christians. It's happening in real time before our very eyes right now. Much more to come with Moti Zaken, Yossi Cooperwasser. After the break, we're going to talk about some new alliances springing up between Israel and its Arab neighbors. This is fascinating stuff, folks. You won't hear much about in the mainstream media, but you hear it right here on The Watchman. Stick around, much more coming up after the break.